Horror Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 374. It is theme week. It is Murder by the Numbers week. Compliments of Brad, our Saturday reviewer. And with that, I'll be looking at 30 Days of Night, a David Slade film from '07 that I think fulfills the requirements pretty well. 30 days to survive the onslaught of a vampire horde that descends on your small town in the middle of winter when you're completely closed off from anything and everything. It's pretty cool idea. So anyways, here is my DVD. I know this thing's probably got a Blu-ray release and whatnot, but I have to say, I've only ran with the DVD release of this, but this is one of those candidates I do believe. I'm not going to buy up everything 4K now that I'm 4K. I'm not going to buy everything up again. But there are certain movies that I have in my DVD selection that are probably a good candidate for an upgrade to a 4K release. One being probably Hannibal by Ridley Scott. I've only had the DVD, and I just have a funny feeling that movie's going to look absolutely gorgeous at 4K. And I have a funny feeling with the cinematography here in this movie would be a good candidate for a 4K release. If it already doesn't have one, I haven't looked. But 30 Days of Night, so we are talking Murder by Numbers this week, and it's an interesting way to close out. It's Halloween week, right? And this is, I've always been somewhat a fan of this movie. You know, certain genres of films just seem to be, they just seem to be cliched out, just worn out. And vampire genre as well as zombie genre, it just, I don't know, it is, not a lot of new stuff, really, unless I'm just not thinking anything. But 30 Days of Night was unique in the sense of just this idea of taking this locale, Barrow, Alaska is the name of the town, way up north. It's the most northern settlement or town way up North Alaska. And just the idea that this town experiences 30 days of just blackness. And, you have a lot of its residents do leave right beforehand, which is actually part of our, works into our story here a little bit. But they do get out of there, but a good core of the town do stay behind. Those who can handle living for 30 days in darkness. But what a place for vampires to descend onto, right? Where they can basically have their way for 30 days. And I think, I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. This is one of those unique things about a film where it lends itself to your imaginative thought in an interesting way that really what we have here is a film that is extreme, takes 30 days and it really compresses it to an hour or some. And I can't remember if this is an hour and 43 or something like that, maybe. I can't remember the runtime. But it compresses it to such that it really does lend to your imagination as to what other adventures, mishaps, near misses did this group of survivors of course, let's just get into this. Eben, who played by Josh Hartnett. I am not the biggest Josh Hartnett fan in the world, but I'm going to tell you, man, I am a fan of him in this movie in particular. I think he does a freaking outstanding job. His girl, his wife, who they're sort of on the outs from one another, Stella, she just misses, played by Melissa George, she just misses her plane out of Barrow and is stuck there and forced to reconcile her marriage. So I guess there's a metaphor there somewhere for what they go through. And that, Bo, who maybe is one of my more favorite characters, played by Mark Boone Jr., he does have maybe my favorite line, one of my favorite lines of all movie history, where he basically is talking to Eben citing him up for an oil leak off his truck there in town, and Boone's one of those guys that just lives out on the northern edge, on the ridge, away from the town. And he's citing him up, writing him up a ticket, and Boone is just sort of like, what? For what? You don't have to cite me. You don't have to do anything. Isn't that why we live out here? For a little freedom And, you know, that line has always stuck with me, because how often in our world of social media, within our close Facebook groups and whatnot, and people get reported for stupid stuff, and you know, you just like, you know, don't we inhabit a closed group because we just want a little freedom in how we interrelate with one another, not being scared by political correctness or anything else? And so, you know, this line has always, you know, left an indelible mark on me, and I think this is why we do some of the things some of us do, some of the things we do, for a little bit of freedom. So, I mean, I think that has always run deep with me. But you do have these vampires. It's interesting. Marlowe, who is the lead vampire played by Danny Huston, and of course Ben Foster, is our stranger. I'll just leave there. Basically, the movie sets it up where the stranger embarks off a much larger ship, rows in, he finds his way up over the ridgeline, and he descends into the town. Now, we're never really witness to any of this, but he basically cuts communications, does anything and everything he can do to basically keep this town from being able to either A, fight back, reach out, get help, whatever. He basically sets the stage for an invasion. Once the plane leaves and the town is left to its skeleton core group of people, then the vampires led by Marlowe descend, and man, I'm telling you, the gore, man, there is one scene in particular towards the end that involves, I'm pretty sure it's Hartnett who gives an axe. He may do this more than once, but there's one near the machine, the Muff Monster, I think is what they call it, the Muff Monster, where things from town get thrown in the trash and all goes into this Muff Monster where things get chewed up and, you know, torn up, you know, to a smaller degree where that it can be handled. Anyways, there's a scene that develops right in front of it, man. The gore effect is so awesome. Guy's turning into a vampire, and man, he just lays the axe to his neck, man. It's the closest, it may be the closest sequence I've ever seen that harkens my mind back to Carpenter's The Thing. And there are moments in this movie that do harken back at least to the atmosphere, the ambiance, or maybe the apocalyptic feel of the film that inhabits the film. This is one of the closest movies that really does make me, you know, moment to moment, think about The Thing. The score is freaking outstanding. I think James, man, you will like this. Brian Rietzel, our composer here for 30 Days a Night, he did the movie you just reviewed not too long ago, Relic from 20, which is an interesting. So same guy, same score. Our cinematographer, man, he's known for also working with our director David Slade on Hard Candy from 05, but also he did some work for System of a Down, the video aerials in particular, in Nightmare Cinema, a newer release, 18 I think. Our special effects, man, is compliments of Weta. Now this film is shot in New Zealand, so there you go, you hire Weta. And I went and looked in the list of works from Weta, and you know, I just picked out 3 that I was surprised and really didn't know they did it, I guess. Just 3. Their list is long though. Prometheus from 12, Aquaman, Weta did, but also this one surprised me. They did the effects for What We Do in the Shadows from 14, and I guess that shouldn't surprise me because that's a New Zealand flick. But anyways, Weta's at the core of the effects. Like I said, shot in New Zealand, and for much of its major sequences involving snow, they used real snow. Not sure how exactly that worked, but they did use real snow, which is interesting. So 30 Days of Night, man, it's a great vampire film. Ghost House Pictures is part of the production. Sam Raimi, of course, is part of this. Tappert is part of this. In fact, Tappert is on the director commentary. I wish Sam Raimi would have been on there with him, but of course we can listen to those two together on the Evil Dead movies, right? But Tappert there is part of that. I think you got Hartnett and Melissa George on the commentary track. But man, this is one of those movies, man, where definitely it takes a genre that's like really super worn out, and it breathes some new life into it, a new concept, a new story, and it's really done effectively well. I mean, I really enjoy this film, and it's probably my, you know, go-to vampire film of late that I'll go to, just for the score, the cinematography, just the the atmosphere, man. It's pretty, I'm not saying it couldn't have been better, but I think it's one of those movies, too, where normally you may not go to a Josh Hartnett movie to watch, but he does a fantastic job in this, man. It's pretty impressive. So, there you go. In October, Murder by Numbers. I bring you 30 Days of Night, man. If you haven't seen it in a while, definitely recheck it out. And just know that these people who worked with David Slade, they're still working out there, man. They're still part of making great films that are still coming out of the last few years, which is really, really cool. And I have not seen the sequel. I hear there's a sequel, Dark Days or something like that. I don't know. But this is a surprise, man. This is a surprise little gem that just... It does get better. It does get better with time. And like I said, man, it is a candidate for a 4K upgrade, just for me personally. I would imagine this will be a film that eventually will get on 4K. Just completely jump the Blu-ray, go from DVD to 4K. I think that's what we'll do. So anyways, here we go, man. We're closing out this month, heading into November with some changes. But I'll let some of those changes unfold on their own. For you all to see, but some good things coming down the pike, and do keep on, man. We appreciate it, all that you do as a fan base, I guess, in terms of just the time you take to watch our reviews, to comment, to like, and all these things, man. We do appreciate it, man. What would we be without you but nothing, I dare say. And so, man, enjoy the rest of your October as it evolves, the November that lies ahead, and of course the Christmas season. And if we can just get past November 3rd and stay in one piece, I think we'll be good to go. So with that, always I leave it off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream.